In the last lecture, we have drawn an isolated footing and reinforcement of the rectangular column. Now, in this lecture, our focus is how to completely define the reinforcement for a reinforced concrete frame consisting of footing, columns, beams, and most importantly, their joint and its detailing. How the reinforcement is drawn at joints. So first of all, we have already drawn a footing and column along with their reinforcement. Now, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to draw the reinforced concrete beam. First of all, we go to the level 1 plan view. We can see the column here. We are supposed to place a reinforced concrete beam. For that, we have to import the rectangular beam as discussed in the previous lecture, how to import the structural families in Revit. So I have imported the rectangular beam from the Revit family by default library and making a duplicate to specify the size of the beam. Just 24 by 24 beam, or you can make it 24 by 30 inches beam. Specifying the length of the beam as first of all we have to make the copy of the concrete footing and the column. Now in level 1 we have two columns visible, so now we can easily draw the beam between the two columns. So I'm drawing a section along the length of the beam so that the elevation of the whole frame is visible. So first of all, I'll be extending the column reinforcement into the beam, as the column reinforcement is always continued till the top of the beam. And similarly for the other side. In a similar manner, I'll be increasing the number of ties for the other column as well. Let's fix the other side reinforcement of the beam and the column. I have extended the column reinforcement to the top of the beam. In a similar manner I did for the other side, and now for the next column, other side. Now the column reinforcement is extended into the beam. Next thing we are going to do is we are going to draw the reinforcement for the beam, starting with the main reinforcement and then the stirrups for the beam. We have already imported the rebar shapes in the previous tutorial in which we draw the reinforcement for the column footing and the column. So now I am unable to place the reinforcement in the beam. If this thing happens to you, it is because of few important reasons. Whether the placement is not correct or your section is not properly cut. In my case, my placement is not correct, so I have fixed the placement, and now you can see the preview is coming for the placement of the bar. But still the placement is showing me a perpendicular preview. However, I want to place the bar in a longitudinal manner parallel to the longer side of the beam. That means my section is not properly cut. Section 5 seems to be cut properly. That is cutting the beam actually, so that it is showing the preview of the bar correctly. The section 4 appears to be outside the beam. That is the exact reason the bar was not coming inside. To specify the cover of the reinforcement, I am drawing a detail line as a reference point. And similarly for the lateral cover, I'll draw the detail line. Let's mirror the bar. Similarly, apply the mirror to the top and bottom to the top bars. Now I am adjusting the main bar of the beam. We need to do a similar thing for the other side main bars of the beam. Let's make the bar visibility as solid in 3D view. Now we can see the bars clearly in the 3D view as well. And click on OK. Similarly, the column main bars, certain bars are not visible as solid. Select the view as solid option for all the phases. And now they are visible as extruded form. After finalizing the beam column joint, we are supposed to draw the stirrup bars for the beam. Let's do some fine tuning for the beam column joint and then we'll proceed to the stirrups of the beam for the frame. Let's draw the stirrup parts. We can use a closed hook for the stirrups. You can press the space bar to change the positions of the hook. The beam's lateral cover seems to be very low, so we have to increase lateral cover so that our stirrup can come into the beam. Now the lateral clear cover was very low, so now we can draw the tie bar or the stirrup. And let's change the diameter of the stirrup, as the diameter seems to be quite high. Make it 3 by 8 inches, and the bent diameters as well should be edited. First edit the visibility states in the 3D view and then view them as solid in the 3D view in all phases. We have to change the bent diameters to the diameter equal to the diameter of the main bar. Now we have placed the stirrup. The stirrup must be at least 2 inches away from the face of the support according to ACI code. Now let's move it 2 inches. You can use the rules of the specific codes you are using. Let's specify the number of stirrups and the spacing. This thing comes from the design. According to ACI code, the extent should be at least equal to the depth of the beam multiplied by 2. We have used it quite higher right now. We can always reduce it, but the basic thing is we need to know how to place the bars. Let's place the mid span bar with higher spacing. That is how we detail the reinforced concrete beam, column, footing and their joints in Autodesk Revit. And we have to edit the visibility as well in 3D view so we can view them in 3D. And click on OK. Go to 3D view. Go to the channel and click on Revit Structures playlist.